I'm going to make a banana pudding. It is one of our family favorites, and so I hope you'll try it and you'll like it. But I'm going to adjust you down so you can see exactly what I'm doing, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, I think that's good right there. So I've got 4 cups of milk that I'm going to put in this pot right here, and I'm going to let it be heating up. My pot was already hot, y'all. I'm going to let that be heating up. So you don't want it boiling, it's just warm. Now I'm going to break up 5 eggs. Now I want the yolks, but we're not going to throw away. I don't want these rolling off. We're not going to throw away the whites. We're going to use those to make a meringue to top our banana pudding with. Okay, sit over there, guys. So we're going to put our yolks in one bowl, and our yolks are going to go into the pudding. You don't want, well, I did that backwards, but that's okay. You don't want any of the yellow to get in your egg whites. I meant to put that in the bigger bowl, but that's okay. So if the yellow gets into the egg whites, it won't beat up for your meringue. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and beat up these yolks in this bowl. Set our egg whites back here. And I'll get out the mixer in a minute, and we'll beat those whites to make our meringue, but we're not ready for that yet. So we're going to beat up these eggs. So we got the milk coming too, just to get warm. Now, to these eggs, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of milk. Let's go ahead and whisk it in. So in this bowl, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. One cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of cornstarch. Now the cornstarch is going to help this pudding to get thick. So put that in there. So we want to stir it together. And we're going to add just a pinch of salt. Salt helps bring out the sweetness in your sweets. I think we've talked about that before. Just a pinch. Doesn't take much. We're going to mix this up. Now we're going to add our egg mixture into this. We're going to whisk it, and it's going to be thick. Move that out of our way. Get things out of your way as you're going, and you won't have to work around them. Then we're going to add some vanilla after we stir that around for just a few minutes. See, and this is getting warm. I can see there's little bubbles around the edge of the pan. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's getting little bubbles around the edge of the pan, and I can see a little steam coming off of it. So I'm going to go ahead. We don't want it boiling, remember. I'm going to put a little bit of milk, and I'm going to stir, whisk real good as I go. So this is tempering. I'm going to add a little bit more. So we're going to add back to this pot of the milk that we didn't use. Let's get all that sugar. So we need that in our pudding. You want it tasting good. Okay. Now we'll turn our heat back on. And we're going to stir this around probably 3 or 4 minutes. And it's going to get nice and thick. And we're going to add in our vanilla. If you put your vanilla in now, as this cooks, your vanilla is just going to cook out. So you want your vanilla to go in last. So let me pause you right here for just a minute while I finish cooking this and getting it thick, and then I'll come back and we'll put it all together, okay? So we've got our pudding. It's nice and thick. I've switched over to a whisk. I'm going to use my spoon to let y'all see how thick it is. You can see how thick that is. And it is hot. And then we're going to stir in our vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I should measure. I don't. I just splash. 1, 2. And so we're going to stir that in. And our pudding is ready. So we're going to let that sit there a minute. We're going to start our meringue. So I've got the yolks left from the eggs we use. So there's 5 yolks. I'll put those in there. I need some cream of tartar, which I forgot to get out. And we're going to put just a smidge of cream of tartar. What cream of tartar does, it helps stabilize those egg yolks, and they hold together a little better for you. So for those 5 egg yolks, I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon. It doesn't take much. Got my whisk attachment. We're going to lock it down and start whisking. Soft peaks for right now. Seeing those pretty soft peaks. Can you see that? They're not stiff. I'll show you when they're stiff, because you can take the whisk and they'll just stand straight up. So I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of sugar. And we're going to do it slow. When I make meringue, I do 2 tablespoons of sugar per egg white. And this is going to be just a little less than that, but I think it's going to be plenty of sugar. A little at a time. Let's check that out. Now watch it. Okay, I want you to see this when I... Now watch that. See how it stands up? I told my little grandson one day we were making meringue together. Meringue, as he called it when he was little. And I had him dump it on top of his head. Not set the bowl on his head, but hold it up over his head. And it didn't drop off. And I knew it was ready. And he knew it was ready. So just another way of it, but I wouldn't suggest holding it over your head. My big casserole dish that I'm going to cook it in, and my vanilla wafers. And I just dump the vanilla wafers in. Then we're going to cut this banana up. And we like banana pudding, but we don't put a whole lot of banana in it. And it's just the way we like it, with just a little bit of banana. So let me move you down a little bit so you can see. There you go. Then I just slice it up kind of thin, cut up in there, kind of spread it out a little bit on those wafers. You see how I've got it distributed out? Now we're going to take this pudding, give it a little stir. A little big stir, and pour it over those wafers and bananas. Looky there. Oh my goodness, y'all. So I'm going to take my spatula, and I'm going to kind of move those wafers around so we can get that pudding all the way through those wafers. We don't want to waste any. Let's get it all off of there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back with this meringue. Get another spatula. Move that. We're going to come back with this meringue and we're going to put it on top of this pudding. Looky there. That's going to be a lot of meringue, palette high. And when you spread, we're going to spread it out, but you want to seal those edges against the dish, because if you don't, your meringue will weep. And if you've ever made meringue and put it on a pie or a pudding and it gets kind of moist around it, it's because it wasn't sealed well. And I'm going to just push it down, seal it up against this dish. See how I'm doing that? Can you see how it's, don't miss any. That's a lot of meringue, guys. I love meringue on pies or puddings. You just take the back of your spoon and kind of dab around, get some peaks going. And as that browns, those peaks will brown up and they'll get a little darker than the rest of the pudding. And the meringue, and it just makes it so pretty. Now, looky there. So, I'd have a little taste. What do you think?